What's up, everybody? This is Caleb from ScoutIQ and thebookflipper.com, and we are going to be sharing some brand new updates to ScoutIQ, and I can't wait to show those to you. This is pre-recorded, although it's recorded on the same day. If you're watching this live, Matthew and I will be hanging out in the chat. You can feel free to chat, and somebody will reply to you in live time. However, we weren't able to make this a true live event just due to poor internet at the time we're going to be recording. So I am coming to you live from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. For those that were able to join us and turn the page this past weekend, really excited to meet many of you and had shared some of these updates with you, and I can't wait to share them with the rest of you now. So we've been in process for quite a long time trying to get hidden mode and team mode and some cloud-based triggers. And if that doesn't make a lot of sense, it will shortly. So bear with us and stay tuned. One of the biggest questions we get for Amazon sellers is, this is great, I'm having a lot of fun. How do I scale my business? How do I grow my team? How can I hire people to do some work so that the business grows even when I'm not trading my time for money? And this feature set with ScoutIQ is going to help you do just that. So this is called team mode. Many of you have been asking for hidden mode, but this is really a step above that. The current iterations of hidden mode, essentially you have to take a phone, log into it, set up the triggers individually, and then set it to hidden mode, turn on a password, and tell the user don't touch. That's great. It gets the job done. It hides the pricing. It makes it simple for somebody scouting, but it's not really scalable. You have to be physically at that device, and if you have a scout that's out of the state, like many of you do, it makes it challenging if you want to change the triggers on the fly. So what we've done instead is we've moved all of that management to the cloud, to our web portal, which you can see here. And what that allows you to do is you can build triggers, you can hire scouts, you can change their password, you can log them out. You can really manage your entire team through our web portal. So if you want to travel, if you want to be out of the country, if you want to be on vacation in Hawaii, since Southwest just opened flights to there, my wife is trying to get me to head out there as well, so maybe we can have a turn the page in Hawaii. But if you want to manage your team remotely and something happens, this is really going to allow you to do that. Cool part is we're not raising the price. The price point of ScoutIQ is going to stay the same, and we do have some extra discounts available when you add sub-accounts. You won't be paying full price for 2 accounts. You'll be getting some discounted rates, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Also, since we're talking pricing, for those of you who've been with us since the very beginning and have the founder's discount or a different discount in place, all of those discounts will actually apply to these child accounts. So if you want to grow your team, instead of paying the standard rate, if you're at 20% off, all of your child accounts or your team accounts will be set up at that same discount. So we're going to make sure you're taken care of. Thanks for believing in us early, for helping to fund the development, and we're going to return that favor and keep those discounts in place. All right, so let's jump in. Let's show you what we've got cooked up. You'll notice that when you log into your portal, and this should be live as soon as you're watching this video and certainly later, you're going to see 2 new categories. So you got your account management that you're used to seeing. You can contact our support team. We do have some live chat that's in place now, and John, one of our support agents, or myself, or Matthew, or somebody from our team is usually there. So that's a great way to get us. You can check out some of the support articles as well. And then we've also got 2 new categories called team and triggers. So let's jump into triggers first. This is kind of a big change. Right now we've reset it up. We've got the ScoutIQ default triggers. These are not able to be edited. One of the challenges we had is that people would change their default triggers and then drop us a line and say, hey, this is a great rank book selling for $50 and my triggers are saying to reject it. What's up? And then we'd have to go troubleshoot. Usually something had changed on the back end, or the user had changed the trigger without realizing it. What we did now is we've locked these up tight. You can't change the triggers anymore. So if you try and come in here, you won't be able to change. By default, they're set to FBA. They're set to 25 cents a pound inbound shipping. That'll cover most of you. Depending on where you are, it'll be a little bit more expensive or a little bit cheaper, and the buy cost is locked in. Now you can change any of this on your app, but as far as the preset, if you ever try and go back to it or push out updates to your team, these will always be the same, so you're always starting from the exact same spot. That'll keep things very simple. If you try and come down here and change things, you'll notice that you're not able to, and it gives you a little message and says, back off, please don't touch. So you can see the triggers as they're set up here. So we've got the e-score ranges, min and max. We've got the rank, min and max. Again, none of that can be edited. You can see the triggers just like we have in the app today, but they're all moved into the web instead. If you want to change these, we'll show you how in just a minute. For those of you who are used to the triggers, we did dial them back just a little bit. A lot of you said that you were totally fine selling books and making $2 or $3 on some of the slightly higher ranks. And so we've kind of taken that feedback and adjusted the profit levels down just a little bit, as well as we've set some of the really high rank stuff to just auto reject. So the triggers are basically the same as you're used to. The ranges have not changed, but we tried to clean them up a little bit, again, to try and match some of the feedback that we're getting from our customers. So that's the default triggers. What we can do now is you guys actually can add a new trigger set. So if you want to build a trigger set that you want to edit, let's say you want to have thrift store triggers, you can call it whatever you want. You can set up your fulfillment method. You can set up a buy costs. Again, I like to have 0, but many of you like to put a cost in. And let's say it's a little more expensive where you are and it's 35 cents a pound. No problem. You can build that trigger set. Once you do that, you're going to see different categories here. So we've got triggers for DVDs, VHS, books, music, video games, pretty much the media categories, and we'll certainly add more categories over time. What this allows you to do now is you can create new triggers individually, or you can even restore them to the defaults. When you restore to the defaults, we're actually going to overwrite everything, but we're only going to leave books in there because most of you are booksellers. We will add the ability to add other categories later and kind of use a preset, kind of pre-filled trigger set from there. But right now, again, we want to keep things as simple as possible. So go ahead and say yes, overwrite the triggers. It'll take just a little bit, and it'll actually populate the entire trigger set, which is already done now, in Thrift Store with the default triggers. These are all now editable. So if you want to change eScore ranges, you can certainly do that. If you want to change the sales rank ranges, you can do that. You can delete triggers, and then you can add additional ones if you want. It's important to note, make sure that your ranges don't have any overlap. By default, we're going to use eScore first. If there is no eScore, or if you leave it blank, it will then default into the rank sections instead. But make sure that you do not overlap what's there. Otherwise, it's just going to take the first trigger that meets the criteria and go from there. So if you wanted to change the minimum profit to be $1 for the best ranked books, no problem. These triggers will be stored, and then you can actually access them from your device. So if you come over to your phone and tap triggers, you're going to see the trigger default show up, and you can simply tap Thrift Store and you're off and running. So this will allow you now, you don't have to be connected to the internet to have your triggers work. As soon as you make the changes, they will get pushed to your device, stored in your phone's cache, and if you're offline or in database mode, no problem. That will still allow you to access them from the road. The cool part is you can now set up trigger ranges for DVDs and everything else. We don't yet have eScore for the other categories, although that is coming soon. We are sort of building those out, and it does take a couple months to make sure we have good quality data. As you start setting rank, if you do 0, it means it's never sold on Amazon, so just be careful. Make sure you start with 1, and let's say you want to go to 50,000. We want to look at the 4th FBA slot, the highest used slot compared to the buy box. Yes, if you're not familiar with triggers, there'll be some help articles as well. We'll post to those below. So if you're not familiar with triggers, don't worry about it. Just know that you can modify those. Let's say we want to make a target profit of $1.50, and we're good to go. We can add another trigger now to take on the next range. So we can go from 50,001 up to 100,000, for example. Let's say we want to look at the lowest FBA slot. You can just grab the drop down, or you can type them in. Buy box compare, yes. Let's say we need a target profit of 250, and then let's make one more trigger, which will be 100,000 up to 250, let's call it. And again, we're going to skip the FBA slot here. And again, I'm just going off the hip. We'll actually have some preset ideas you can use based on some of the data we've been collecting. But let's say we want to look at the second used slot, don't compare to the buy box, and we need to make $5 to justify touching those. You can then add one more trigger to kind of be the catch-all. We'll go from 250,000. Actually, I should have made this 250,000 even. We can go 250,000 up to 10 million. Doesn't matter. And we're actually going to set this last trigger to always reject. Again, these may not be exact triggers you would use for DVDs, so please don't copy these. We'll link to kind of some preset triggers that we think you should use. But again, these are now pushed to the device in real time. And if you were to go scan a DVD right now, you would see the yes and no or accept reject triggers built immediately in based on what we just did. So again, you can go from books to DVDs, You can add music triggers if you'd like, and all of these are stored under the thrift store title. If you want to add more triggers, you can do as many as you'd like. So a lot of our users have some bulk employees that are scanning books in a warehouse. Some have scouts that go to thrift stores. Some just want to use the default, but you can certainly keep adding. So if you're a bulk seller and do merchant fulfilled, you can set up your buy cost again at 0 if you'd like. You can apply your fixed shipping costs and try and match those up to what they would be if you sold with USPS or parcel posts. We could call these bulk triggers or warehouse triggers, whatever you want to use. And again, as soon as we do that over in the app, they're going to show up. So it's really cool. It's really a nice live integration. And again, you can then set up the triggers anywhere you want to slice them. You can pull in the defaults and then again change those to reflect merchant fulfilled type rates. So that is it for triggers. Let's show you real quickly how that works. So let's say you got thrift store triggers. Let's scan a book and we'll show you what's going on. So I've got thrift store triggers. We're just going to scan a book here. I've just got one sitting around. It's not a great book. Apparently it's a good one for reading. MJ or Mike, if you're watching, thanks for giving me the book. I'm going to read it shortly. Here you can see that everything's set up. Again, if you do want to change the buy costs, you can do that in the app and it will be retained until you log out and log back into the app or reopen the app, in which case it'll restore everything back to your defaults. But you can go ahead and leave that alone. What it is the profit's only 58 cents. So obviously not a great book to be purchasing, but let's say you're a bulk seller, you're fine with that, you're okay with 50 cents. Come to the eScore range of 151 or higher, and we're actually going to set the target profit to be, let's say, 50 cents. And you're going to see in real time this now updates the app. So whatever triggers you change on the device are actually going to get pushed to the app as long as you're editing the correct set. There's no need to save it. You can click save and it'll take you back out, but there's no necessary need to do that. And again, if you want to make $2 profit on those books, you can simply change it. And again, in live time, the app will update. So it's extremely powerful. Where this comes more into play is when you start adding teams. So many of you have been asking for hidden mode or the ability to hide or restrict the data. And you want to do this for two reasons. One, you're afraid your employees are going to take the expensive books for themselves, right? They're going to scan a $100 book, put it in their pocket, keep it in their car, not give it to you. They'll give you the cheaper books, right? I don't know that that's necessarily a concern. We've hired lots of scouts, but I certainly understand the sentiment, and we wanted to make sure that was an ability. The second piece is it makes it really simple. We get a lot of people that call us and say, hey, I'm going to donate a bunch of books to Goodwill. I know you sell books. Do you want them? And usually the answer is no, because I'm only going to take 10%, but I'll ask a few questions. And if it's a decent collection, if it's got medical, religious, textbooks, if it's got good stuff in there, I'll actually say, go ahead. Let me give you a login. So I'll give them a login to the app. You can share logins just as long as you don't use two at the same time. So I'll give them a login to one of my team accounts or my child accounts, and I'll set it to hidden mode. So hidden mode, then they'll simply scan the books, and I say anything that turns green, set aside, and I'll pay you for it or sell it on consignment. And it works really well. So hiding the data is great for protecting the information and not worrying about competition, but also it just cleans things up. Rather than showing a screen, we're used to looking at this screen, but someone else that may be confusing. So we simplify it. We simply say accept or reject. So let's jump in and show you what that looks like. This is really exciting as it comes to growing your team, hiring scouts, or again, setting up consignment deals where someone can scan for you remotely with friends from church, friends from school, friends out of state, and you can then simply take the books that work well. So here's the team page. I've already got several members set up. You can see if they're pending cancellation or if they're active. When it comes to adding a team member, you've got two options. You can either do live only at $10 a month, and again, if you have a discount in place, let's say you're a founding member and it's 20% off, then this is only going to cost you $8. These won't be reflected, but when it actually hits your account, it will be reflected. Database plus live, instead of $44 a month, is only $30. And again, if you have a founding discount at 20% off, check my math, it should only run you $24 to add a sub account. Now these sub accounts are only going to be month to month. Teams change quite often. That's just the nature of it. So we don't want to lock you into annual plans and then try and deal with people that are canceling and then need some refunds or whatever. We want to keep it simple. These will also, if you have a monthly plan, these will actually get billed on the same card and the same day as your regular plan. So if you're halfway through the month and you add a child account, it'll actually only bill you half of the month right away. It'll bill you right away as soon as you add the user. And once you do that, The next time you get billed, it'll lump it all together on one invoice, so it'll make your accounting and your bookkeeping that much simpler. And again, you can upgrade accounts, downgrade accounts, cancel them anytime you want, add new members, and keep it really simple. So as your team grows or shrinks, or as you want to build up a scout team for library sale season, you can handle that. Real quick, let's just show you what it looks like. You can set up a name. One of the important things we did is we didn't want to add email addresses. We don't want you to have to create multiple email addresses, plus your team is likely going to change from time to time. So we use usernames now. So you can set up whatever you want. You can just call them test account. The username needs to be unique. If it's not, then the app will kick you out and tell you it's already been used. But you can set up somebody, Scout Team 1, something like that. You can set up whatever password you want, and then you can go ahead and create the user. Again, even if you're in a free trial, whatever it is, if you want to add team members, it's going to bill you right away a prorated amount for that month. If you have an annual plan or a lifetime plan, it'll simply set up a brand new monthly subscription just with that trial user, and then child user, all new child accounts that get added will be added to that same plan. So you're only going to see one bill monthly. Again, we want to keep that as simple as possible. You can then set their mode to full or hidden, which we'll show you in a minute. And remember, we built those 3 trigger sets. You can actually set their default. And don't worry, you can change that at any time. Once you create the user, it will bill you right away. I've already got someone set up, so I'm not going to bother. We'll go ahead and cancel and come back out. I'm going to show you, I'm logged in right now as Library Team 1. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So here we've got Library Team 1. I've got the username. It's not case sensitive, so you can just, it doesn't matter if you use caps or not. I'm just a little OCD and like to show the capital letters. I can change the password here if I want. And again, if my child accounts try and log into the web portal, it'll say they don't have permission. So you don't have to give up your real email. You don't have to give up your password. You can definitely set that as you go. You can also log the user out, and the next time they try and do a live lookup or download the database, it will actually boot them. So if you have a scout that quits on you and you need to let someone else log in, you can go ahead and log them out, change the password, change the username if you want, and then hire another scout to take their place. So let's show you what hidden mode looks like. Again, I'm logged in as this user over here. I'm going to change it to hidden mode, and I'm going to update the user. And you're going to see in live time again, this just gets pushed. And now every time I scan a book or type something in, it's just going to simply show me the title of the book, the weight. I can see the ISBN and a little image if you're in live mode. And all they can see is accept or reject with a giant X or a green check mark. So let's show you what an accept looks like real quick. So on accept, it's going to turn green. You can have the audio cues, the vibration, just like you're used to. But this makes it extremely easy, especially if you're hiring people that aren't necessarily tech savvy. They can easily go in, scan books for you, and anything that turns green means it meets your criteria. So again, on this last book, let's go ahead and scan it one more time and just again show you in live time how that gets updated on the fly. So again, it's saying reject because it doesn't match our triggers. However, we can change those triggers. So Library Team 1, we are set up for thrift store triggers. We're going to leave that alone. We're going to jump back to triggers. We're going to go look at thrift store triggers just like we're doing. And remember, this book was over a 150 e-score and the profit was, I think, 58 cents. So we're going to change this to 50 cents. And again, you can see in live time that if you're okay making 50 cents, that trigger gets pushed immediately the next time it has any kind of cell signal service or Wi-Fi service. It'll just pick up. It's kind of a live two-way tunnel chatting with the cloud, the beautiful thing called the cloud. So that is it when it comes to setting up team. Again, you can set up team accounts. They can still download the database. They can change their settings. They can change which mode they're scanning in. But if you want to limit the data, that will limit it for them, and all they can see is accept, reject. And again, everything's updated on the fly. If you want to have different profit triggers, you can do that. If you want to change the cost per pound, you can do that. If you want to change it by cost, you have that power as the parent's account. So that's it. I wanted to keep it a quick call. Looks like we're only at about 20 minutes. If you do have questions, please post those below. And again, this is active as of now. You can log into your ScoutIQ web portal, come up, and you'll see team and triggers. If you do have existing team members, check your email. We're going to send a form for how to switch people over. You want to pick one parent's account. That's typically the account you're going to use. It does need to be a database plan in order to get the discount, or if you have a lifetime plan, we'll be able to work that out as well. But you do need the database plan to pick up the team mode. We did want to make sure that's a premium feature, but we're not charging any extra for it. So if you have a parent account that you want to switch over to a bunch of children, or sub-accounts that you've had and you had discounts in place already, check your email. We've got a form there you can fill out. We're going to cancel your old accounts, set you up with new ones, and we'll give you a prorated refunds. We don't want to double bill you, and we certainly want to let you jump right in and have access to this. So to recap, if you're looking to grow your business, to have hidden mode, if you want to hire scouts in different states, if you want to have libraries or thrift stores or grandma scan books for you, you can set up hidden mode, push it remotely, change the triggers remotely, and make sure that you can run a more effective business. Again, our whole goal here is we're trying to help you scout smarter, not harder. And one of the ways to be smart and to grow your business is to stop trading your time for money and work on building a team and improving the lives of those in your circle or improving the lives of your employees. So that's it. That's hidden mode. That's teams. And again, with the triggers, web-based, it allows you to build those on the web and push them back out, easily let you store them. So if you lose your phone, you can simply log in on a new device. Your triggers are still there waiting for you. You never have to worry about of messing up the default triggers since we locked those out. And that's it. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out. You can go to the web portal or even scoutiq.co. There should be a contact button. If it's during primary business hours, you can chat with us. If it's not, simply drop us a message either there, or you can email us at support@scoutiq.co. We'd love to hear what you think. Drop a comment below, share the video with your friends, and let us know some of your success stories. We want you to be out there scouting, growing your team, growing your business, and really enjoying this Amazon ride for as long as it lasts. So that's it. On behalf of Matthew, my business partner, our development team, our contract development team, John, our customer support agent, and everybody here, we're thankful for your business, thankful for your time, and go get them. Thanks for watching.